the latest episode of As the Stomach Turns. Now, keep in mind in that video, I also expressed that in the past, Pete Townson has stated on the first firing, we covered it here on the forum, didn't we? One of my biggest forums. We covered this. Was that the first time they sacked Zak, that Pete Townson came out and said, well, I have nothing to do with that. I do not do the hiring or the firing for band members. Roger takes care of that. I'm paraphrasing him. But basically, his statement said that. Okay? So, the day after my video, of course, Pete's response and Roger's response comes to the fore, and here they are. Pete's statement says, dig this. Now, remember what I just said, folks. I had to fire Zak before, and it was painful then, too. But when the collective energy of the band starts to slip, I have to make a hard choice. Zak is still a phenomenal drummer. There is no bad blood. Now, I'm just letting that sink in because I know my longtime viewers, that people have been coming to this stream right now are just boiling, aren't you? What a filthy, dirty dog liar. And I don't believe him, do you? Because I covered other people's statements before, a month ago, that pretty much concur with Pete that Roger's in charge of that band. So why this big, bold statement? And the latest statement I had from Pete before was flowery. Remember I said, I think Daltry sent him out to do it. And he's gotten criticism from that, hasn't he? From me, for one. So what's his next action? You got to go out there tough. So I can just imagine, here's Pete Townsend, the dog, Roger Daltrey, the master, got him on a chain, whips him, gets him mean, sick. And here he comes. I had to fire him. I had to fire him before. You dirty dog liar. You told us you had nothing to do with that. Disappointing year for my rock. I mean, my God. Pete Townsend is one of my favorite songwriters. Can you believe this? What is Daltrey's response? Well, he says that Zak was too involved with his side projects. Now, he didn't state anything about his drumming, right? Or the mistake. He just has too many side projects that he wasn't devoted. There was missed rehearsals, all right? And if that's true, Zak should have made those rehearsals. To me, you know me, be a man of your word. If you agreed to drum for this band, they'll have rehearsals on Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You better be there, son. I don't know. This is what he says. Okay, so let's get back to this idea of Roger. He wants to go back and do. So the very reason why Zak Starky is not good enough for the Who at this part isn't because he's not a good drummer. We all know he's a good drummer, right? And it isn't because Pete Townsend, the wimp, says he fired him this time. Pete has been on record, nope, that's Roger. Other people have said it's Roger, and we all know it's Roger because whose drummer came along? It was Roger's drummer. Whose will is being accomplished? It was Roger's will that's being accomplished. See, so when I read these stories, that's what I look for. And a whole lifetime of watching clowns try to put one up on me, right? I could smell a rat a mile away, just like a lot of you folks. You've lived a life. We can smell a rat a mile away. So anyway, this whole thing stinks. Now, what does Ringo have to say about this? Well, really, I don't give a shit. All right? I really don't. But I'm a content creator, and I knew one of you might be asking or bring it up, right? Ringo says that he actually kind of advised Zak not to get involved in that band, and not because of Pete Townson, but because, and he said, Roger isn't always the most positive person to be around. Ringo freaking Starr said that. Mr. Oh gosh, the nice guy of the Beatles said that. So where was I here? The polls. All right. I was back. I wanted to get back to the polls here. So who do you think really wanted Zak Starkey out of the Who? 24% of you voted, I think it was a mutual decision between Townsend and Daltry. 15% of you voted it was Pete Townson. He made the statement, and he did, didn't he? It was his idea. 4% of you said Zak Starkey deserved it. His drumming wasn't up to par. I'm surprised he even got 4%. He's a great drummer. All right, he's not Jason Bonham, but he's great. He's great. I've heard him drum. He's good. All right, good pedigree too, huh? But over half of you, 7% over half. Why does he do that, Mildred? 57% of you voted Roger Daltrey wanted his own drummer, Scott DeVores, all along. Before I ever made my thing here, I did some surmising on those videos, right? But before I ever did this stream, this is how you voted. You've already done this. 57% of you. 800 of you voting. That means well over 400 of you responding think that it was Roger Waters all along.